Business Brain, episode 671 for Casual Friday, August 1st, Startup Day Across America 2025. Yeah. Greetings, folks, and welcome to Business Brain, the show where we take some ideas from you, from us, we crunch them, we dissect them, we share them, we use them to tune our business brains so that we can each keep on living those charmed lives. Our sponsors for this episode include Eversite.com/BB, where you can get a gorgeous pro-managed website without the stress and your own in-house web team for just $3.99 a month, or it's like having your own in-house web team. And Shopify.com/businessbrain, where you can sign up for their $1 per month trial period and upgrade your selling today. We'll talk more about those in depth in a minute. For now, here in Durham, New Hampshire, I'm Dave Hamilton.
And I'm Shannon Jean. I'm in Northern California. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Hey, we have a nice tip, quick tip from Jim, who wrote in. He says, you've mentioned telling ChatGPT to remember things. He says, I use different AIs, Gemini, ChatGPT, Perplexity. He says, this tip likely works for all of them. Go into your custom instructions for your given LLM, your given AI of choice, and add the following. Every answer should come with at least 3 links to source pages I can click on to read more.
Yeah,
Love
that's
that.
Great. Yeah, that's super smart.
I'll put that text in the show notes for everybody. But yeah,
because I get something and then I have to tell it to do it. Right. Hey, give me the source. So, yeah.
So why not just tell it to give you sources right out of the gate? And it's a great. I've done it, and it makes a huge difference. Yeah, and sometimes I don't need to click on the sources. I'm good with whatever information it gave me, and then it's okay. Like it's totally fine.
I also like the one you tell it, don't ever give me back a bunch of text that has emojis all in it. I don't want to see emojis. It's very we just talked about emojis before, and I do like them, but it's very sparingly, not every other line.
So
you have to tell it.
Like, I do like it when I tell it to, like, for a podcast episode or whatever, when I tell it, make me an Instagram post, it knows to use emojis there.
Oh, yeah.
Because Instagram's full of emojis. Like, it's the right platform for that. And so, it's great.
That's pretty cool.
Speaking of things that we put in the show notes, I mentioned that today is Startup Day across America, and we always talk about whatever the day du jour is. And I always link whatever that is in the show notes. So if you hear us mention something and you're like, what the heck are they talking about? Go to the show notes at businessbrain.show, and there will be a link that explains more about what that day is. So you've got it there. Yeah. Yep.
Clever. Hey, I use a new AI platform this week that I thought I'd share with you. It's called Gamma.ai. And it's I
think it's at Gamma.app, right?
Yep, Gamma.app.
Okay.
And if I can pull up the homepage, I have my template that I did pull up, but I'm just curious about pulling up what it says on the front page.
Oh, yeah.
Gamma.app and say perfect. So basically, it's the way I use it. Yeah, it says bring your ideas to life. They presentations, websites, social media, or documents, and you can create all kinds of stuff with it. The example I created that I used that I shared with you, Dave. That's if you're watching this, and you can watch it at YouTube. Just search for Business Brain.
Yeah,
I had a social media post that I talked about it's not mine, I stole it, of course, but I expanded on it, this whistle, workhorse, and whale concept.
We've talked about that here on the show.
Talked about it on the show. If you go to businessbrain.show and search for whistle, there's a whole episode on it, or maybe several. And all I did was dump my text into it, and this is the presentation that it created.
Oh, interesting.
And it brought a bunch of graphics, and it it renamed it. It's called Beyond Price, the Whistle, Workhorse, and Whale Strategy, a powerful pricing framework to escape the discount trap and build sustainable business growth. I did, that's their description. I thought it was kind of cool. And it talked about, the second section talks about the price war problem, Competing on price alone is a dangerous game for any business. Attracts bargain hunters with low
This
loyalty.
built you a PowerPoint presentation,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could build a website with it.
Sure.
You can turn this into a PDF if you were sending it to someone.
Yep.
Could be a proposal. Could create it. So it's it just brings it all together graphically, and it fine tunes your content. And the nice thing is you can then go in and edit any of this. You can just click into it to make it yours again. Like, I don't like the way it says that, and I want to, I want to do this with it or something different.
Sure.
And I like it. I think it's pretty cool. I'm going to be using it to help with some stuff that I want to create visualizations for, and it's pretty cool. It's at gamma.app, and they'll do the same thing. You could take 5 pages of documents or something you wrote in Word, and it would create a website for you with all that content. Create like a one-page site that's just scrollable, which is maybe for a landing page or a sales funnel website. It's pretty cool. Yeah,
that's really cool. Yeah, and I mean, you can put it into presentation mode, and it just kind of it turns your web browser into your.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
Your presentation. This is great, man.
Nice if you have somebody like on a Zoom call and you want to walk them through it or something like that, or click through it. That's awesome.
This is where. And there's a lot of different, obviously, we talk about it literally every week, but there's a lot of different use cases for AI right now where it currently shines almost always, not always, but where you can really rely on it is with the summarization or the repackaging, the synthesizing of data, where that's where it's so good right now. There's other things that it's kind of good at and occasionally good at, and it's going to keep getting better, obviously. But right now, the whole summarizing, synthesizing, repackaging of data, which is exactly what it's doing here, and it's expanding on it, right? You didn't give it this much content; you gave it some amount of it, and it distilled it down, knowing what works well as a presentation and all that. It's great.
And what I find really helpful with all these AI, LLMs or apps, like
platforms,
I may not have it fully flushed out in my head what I want to say, but I have this idea or this concept, or maybe I've got 5 sentences that I've started, and I would say, hey, help me expand this.
Yes,
it's very helpful. And so Gamma, they have a free level. This is always free, where you get some generic stuff. The plus level is $8 a month, so it's pretty inexpensive. And then they have a higher level for like teams and that kind of thing. But check it out, gamma.app, GAMMA.app.
Yep, perfect. Thanks for that. That's great. Yeah, I have an example of AI not just summarizing data and analyzing it for me, but then helping me to turn it around. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. The next thing that I want to do is talk about our 2 sponsors. Because starting a business is a lot like joining a rock band. At first, it's just you and a dream and maybe a triangle, right? But before long, you're juggling merch, marketing, shipping, and some guy named Carl asking about your refund policy. And that's where our sponsor, Shopify, steps in. It's like having a built-in business partner minus the late-night reheated pad thai and questionable advice. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S., from household names to brand new shops like yours and mine. You get a full suite of beautiful, ready-to-use templates, smart AI tools that can write product descriptions and boost your images, and built-in marketing to help you turn those what-ifs into heck yes. I've used Shopify to sell merch for some of my other shows, and it's smooth, reliable, and doesn't make me feel like I need a computer science degree to run a store. It's just right there. So look, it's time. Turn your big business idea into ka-ching with Shopify on your side. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/businessbrain. Go to shopify.com/businessbrain. That's shopify.com/businessbrain shopify.com/businessbrain. And our thanks to Shopify for sponsoring this episode. And look, if your business website isn't pulling its weight, it's time to stop babysitting pixels and start delegating to the pros. That's where our sponsor Eversite comes in. For just $399 a month, you get what feels like your own in-house web team. No $10,000 upfront fees, no long-term contracts, and no panicked, "Why is my site down?" texts at midnight. Eversite builds and manages your site. They respond to phone, email, and even texts the same day. And here's the kicker. If disaster strikes, like a site hack or a meltdown, they jump in immediately. Obviously, here at Business Brain, we are no strangers to having disaster strike. I think maybe that's what qualifies us the most to talk about this as frequently as we do. Shannon, you had disaster strike, and Eversite helped.
Yeah, man, they were great, and they got me back up and running quickly. I self-managed my sites for a while, and for basic stuff. But as you start expanding and adding all kinds of bells and whistles and so-called safe plugins, some bad things can happen, which happened to me. And they're awesome, great to work with. And now when I need a modification or something done real quick, they're just an email away, and it works really great.
Oh, amazing! I love to hear that. That's great. That's what so many folks like us need is that sort of delegate and not forget about it, but stop worrying. You're delegating the worry of it to someone else. Yeah, that's great. You can delegate your worry too at eversite.com/bb and get started today. And our thanks to Eversite for sponsoring this episode. So my daughter is going to be getting married next year.
Okay, congratulations.
And thanks. Yeah. Well, we're not through it yet.
I'll take that back.
No, it's it's going to be great. Yeah. And but we're contracts for things are coming in, the venue and all this other stuff. And she already uses ChatGPT to analyze all this stuff. She was having a problem. ChatGPT today would not. It wouldn't let her upload a file. It was like, temporarily, we can't do this. I'm like, well, that's stupid. So I took the contract and uploaded it, and it worked totally fine for me. So who knows, right? Whatever. And so I had it analyze the contract from the venue. Now, I had already read the contract. It was very short, 2 pages. I think for most things any of us do, if the contract is longer than 2 or 3 pages, that's a red flag. And if it's if you're the one sending it out, that's also a red flag. So be aware of that. So this one was 2 pages, very simple, very clear. I read through it. I was like, okay, fine. It locks you in more than you want to be locked in, but that's what it's I kind of knew that, but then that's where my bias almost caught me. And so I ran it by ChatGPT and I said, just, analyze this contract for me. And I think that's about all I said to it. And it came back and it caught some of the things. It's like, look, these deposits, things that you put down are non-refundable. There's no way to get around it. And then it highlighted the force majeure clause that they had in there, which I basically did gloss over. It was like, oh yeah, if something happens, whatever. Well, this was a pretty one-sided force majeure clause. It was, if anything happens, act of God, yada, 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 the event will go on as planned unless there is a state-declared emergency, in which case the event will be rescheduled and you will still hold it here and all of that. And ChatGPT was like, just make sure that you're okay with this. And the more I thought about it, I was like, well, I don't know. I think that's pretty one-sided. So I asked it, I asked it, would you draft a counter, clause? But I said, let's keep this productive. We want this whole thing. We want everybody. We need everybody protected, but we want everybody happy all the way through.
You don't want to have the event at a place where they're already
they hate me.
Yes,
right.
You don't want that.
Exactly. No, and so it did. It came up with a thing, and it basically rewrote it, and it said it took the state declared emergency language out and just replaced it with circumstances beyond either party's control, including but not limited to natural disasters, right? Okay, great. Now we're a little looser here.
Yes.
And what it put in there, and I was really happy, it took my instructions properly. It did not come back with some equally one-sided just on the other side.
Yes,
right. Because that's not, I don't like negotiating. That's what your attorney does. And I even told it, when it came up with the first version, I said, now write it like I wrote it, not like an attorney wrote it. And it said, and it came back and it basically said, if it makes it impossible to fulfill the terms of this agreement, neither party will be held liable. That means if their venue falls apart, they don't need to pay for the band and the wedding dress that I can now not use at their venue.
Yes.
Right. And also it threw in there, it said the first deposit, which is just a few $1,000s or something, is theirs to keep. The rest of it is all going to be refunded. Oh, it put another thing in there that said both parties will make a good faith effort to reschedule the event.
Yeah, that's
but
great.
if that isn't feasible, then you keep the first little deposit and then the rest of it is ours. Now, they haven't agreed to this yet, mind you.
Yes.
But
most places are not used to people redlining or offering. They're not. But
I know. But
I agree.
But I'm going to try. And so it was like, now help me write the email. I wrote the email to send this, and then I fed that into ChatGPT. And I said, now help me distill this down, make it clearer. And it was like, great. Yep, you're doing good. But here's some things I recommend. And all of the things were like, oh, yeah, that's a great thing.
That's good. That's
it's just something to catch me.
Yeah,
when
and to get you to think a little bit
differently.
Deeper. Yeah.
But the whole thing, at least, and again, like we talked about in Wednesday's episode, we don't get to decide what mood someone's in when they receive our email or our text or any of that. But the whole thing was as smooth as I could have made it. In fact, it was smoother than I could have made it because it made it smoother for me and kept it really positive. And we're looking forward to a day. And it was even, I asked at the end of it, at the end of the email, it was something, actually, I'll find that, would something like this work for y'all as a replacement for this first paragraph?
That's great. Yeah.
It gives them the opportunity to say no.
Yeah.
And that's going to bring up a conversation because
that's it. Yeah.
Yep.
Why?
Why is this a no? I just need to understand. For me, I've done a lot of events over the years, and I sort of implied that in the thing. It's like, this seems non-standard for events that I've done. To just show them that I'm not coming back with something. Because I even asked ChatGPT. I said,
"That's weird.
Is this boilerplate for a wedding venue?" And it was like, not really. No, this is a little one-sided. I'm like, great. Then now we've got something to stand on here.
Yeah, I do the same thing. There's not an agreement, prospective agreement, a contract, a lease, whatever that I always run it through. And one part of the prompts that I use each time is I ask it to identify anything that's not standard.
That's
because,
the key.
You can just get the standardized lease, a standardized sale agreement, all that stuff that is just general terms and everybody pretty much agrees to these things.
Yep.
But and like my son is moving and he's getting a lease. So I said, hey, there's 5 early 20s young men that are renting this place. Here's the lease. Is there anything that they've asked me to take a look at the lease, anything that I need to be, and it was pretty much standard, but it said, make sure they understand what jointly and severally, and maybe I'm not saying that right.
Severally, yes.
Severally liable means. And I was like, oh, yeah. And we had a conversation with my son. Is everyone signing the lease? Yes. Or their own lease? Yes. So, well, if they don't pay the rent, you're liable. And if you don't pay the rent, they're liable. So he's like, what? How does that work? Here's how it works. So
here's how it works.
It was great. Yeah. It was, even though that is a standard, it pointed out because I said, oh, these are younger, inexperienced, young men. I want to say kids every time that haven't leased very many properties, and I'm not signing it, so they are. So it's not me.
Right.
And so it was great.
That's great.
Very, very useful, and you just play with it, and it's just so helpful. It's incredible.
Yeah, I think the part that I'd like to reiterate is not it's great to have it review the contract, and the idea of proposing a way to communicate the changes that keeps everybody at least on the surface. Like, this is confrontational. I am coming back and saying, you're wrong. I want to do it my way, right? And so I know that it is confrontational. Yep. Okay, well, there's a contract involved. That's like, it's kind of part and parcel. It's fine.
In my brain, with that way you're handling it, you're using persuasion. You're trying to speak in a certain way. You're getting up and walking around and trying to sit next to them at the negotiation table.
I'm doing my best at that while simultaneously representing my interests, right?
Yeah, but you want them, hopefully, that's the way they're going to take it, especially with your language, using the word y'all. And does this sound like it might be something? Instead of, being very...
This must be the way.
No, because they don't have to rent the venue to you, and then your daughter's going to be mad.
And then everybody's
pissed
at me.
This is where we wanted to get married. Oh my God!
Yeah, exactly. Right. Believe me, I have torpedoed things long before
me too.
I ever even realized that the chamber was loaded. Like,
me too.
Just by
I get frustrated with unreasonable people when I like to think of myself as very reasonable, and I want to make it work, right?
Yes.
But then you read something, you're like, well, this is just BS. They don't need to say this, and we're not going to do that. I'm like, we're not doing this, and then you see everybody around you like, what?
How come he's asking that question? Let me tell you why I'm asking the question. That's all.
Maybe it's because we've been on the other end where it became problematic, and we were either saved by the way certain language was, or it came up and like, oh wow, I didn't know that's what that meant.
That's what that meant. Well, and that's what I said to my daughter. I said, look, I'm happy to present this to them if you would like to, and if you want to tell me not to, let's have that conversation. I said, but here's the scenario that I need to make sure we avoid, and that is that for more than half of the people that are coming, this is a destination wedding, even though it's happening in New Hampshire, right? So we're going to have the people here staying in hotels.
It's a big deal.
You're going to,
it's a big deal.
You've already bought a dress. You've already got a band. Everybody's here. If suddenly their plumbing doesn't work and they say, oh, we need to reschedule as per the contract, it's like, no, we're having the wedding on that day. If you can't host us, we're going to do it at worst in my backyard, right? Like, I mean,
you're right.
It's going to happen, and now I got to pay for a party at your venue at some day when your plumbing works.
No. I
agree
with you.
No. If your plumbing doesn't work that day, then we can't do the event that day at your place. Right.
That's right.
That's all.
Or you're not bringing in a trailer with water and toilets or whatever.
You can choose to fix this.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
We're all working together, not just you get to pull the plug and I have no say in the matter. No. Nope. And that'll be the example. I haven't told them that example yet, but if they push back, we'll get on the phone. We're done with I will not send another email.
Yeah, sometimes you have to have that conversation
on this. But it's like, let's get on the phone and let's talk it through. Let me share my concern with you and why I'm asking for this, and we can talk it out. Yeah,
that's right.
And now it might come down in the end to, well, we don't alter our agreement.
Could be.
And you take it or leave it,
You can
buddy.
decide. Yeah,
and then we get to decide.
Yeah, then
that's
you
right.
decide. Yeah.
That's right.
Yep. There's tears.
And that's what the day we buy wedding insurance.
That's true. That's good.
It'll cost us a few $100s and then it's done. That's fine. That's great. Which we'll probably buy anyway.
Yeah, that's right. If you have either new AI that we should know about or methods that you're using existing AI, we would love to hear about it because we're always looking. We're trying to expand our brains here on Business Brain, and you can send that to feedback@businessbrain.show. We would love to hear from you.
We would love to hear it. Yeah. Every day that I learn about something new with AI is a good day. So please help us out. Yeah. Feedback@businessbrain.show. Have a great weekend. Keep living that charmed life, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.